Hey, yo, this your boy Killer Cam, King Joffy Join. You watching this at 50.com. Set.
I heard another story about you when you was auditioning for Paid in Full.
Right.
I heard you wasn't using props when it was time to pull out the joint. I heard you pulled out a real joint.
Yeah.
And the cast and the big boys was like, "Yo, what the fuck?" Like,
yeah, I really.
Why did you find it necessary to do that?
I wanted the part, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I bought my gun from home.
Take it, right?
I bought my gun from home. I really wish I could find that tape. I told Dame I want that tape bad, but I bought the gun from home, and I was like, yo, maybe, because Alpo, time is going by, so kids don't really know him like that these days. But when I was younger, it was like a big deal. So I was like, damn, I was home practicing, read my lines, I knew my lines and all that shit. And I was like, man, I'm gonna show these niggas I want that part. That might have, looking back on it today, I'm like, these niggas might have thought that he was a loose cannon, he can't get the part. But I thought that was help me solidify the part. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it did or didn't, but I just thought it was a need to do that.
Right. So what was the initial reaction? Obviously,
so what they do is they have a reader. Like for instance, your reader, I'm me. We're standing up doing the lines. Then it's Dame and the two other people, I guess, from the movie, kind of behind the table. And when we're reading and it gets to the part, I pull the gun out. I pull my gun out and the dude's like, whoa, whoa, and like kind of walks off. And Dame comes around and takes like, yo, chill, kid, chill. I'm like, nah, it ain't nothing. I'm just showing y'all if I had to pull the gun out. And the other two people was just looking. Dame was laughing. And they're like, nah, you did good, you did good. And that was that.
I mean, that probably what did it for you. Like,
oh, so, man, well, it happened.
It could have went either way. They could have went like, nah.
Yeah, so.
If you got an issue with this dude, I'm scared to talk to him.
Right. That's what I'm saying today. I didn't look at it back then like that.
Right.
But I just thought I need to do what I had to do to get the part.
Now, this is something else I heard. Is there any truth to this that Jay-Z was supposed to be in that movie, but Rich Porter Mom has a problem with him? Is that?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't really on the executive producer side.
Right.
I got, to be totally honest with you, I believe I got $8,500 to do that movie, and that was the end of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who had a problem with who. Exactly. That's all I got. $8,500.
And what did that movie gross?
I don't know. It wasn't
30 million or some crazy shit?
I don't know, to be honest, man. I was just more happy and excited just to do the movie. That movie came out like 2002, 2003, but it got filmed in 2000. It was delayed putting the movie out. So I only had one album out. For me to be even invited to do the movie, I wasn't trying to even complain. I really wasn't trying to learn the business. I was just wanting to be in the movie. Right,
because I was gonna say the camera. I know you about that dollar.
Yeah.
That percentage don't match the camera.
Yeah, right. Yep. So I learned, Cohen. I learned because my first album I got jerked around. So you learn the business. It's kind of good that my first album, even though it went gold, I didn't really know what the business was. But you come out and do 3-4 million first album. You may not want to learn the business because money's just randomly always coming in.
Right.
You got a lot of people who sold 2-3 million albums they first. I won't say names or whatever, and you don't hear from them again. You know what I mean? So I'm happy my career went the way it did.
I don't know if you know how famous that potato chips is when you eating.
I'm learning now how big it is. I'm starting to learn.
That's a huge scene. Were you doing a lot of improv in that movie, or was that scripted? Yeah,
it was a lot of improv. Like basically, so Dame Dash had a lot of control on that movie. You know what I'm saying? I believe, I don't know if AZ wrote it and they moved some of how he wrote it around, because I've seen a few interviews where AZ was mad about the movie also.
Right.
But basically, we shot a lot of that movie, probably 80% of that movie in Canada.
Okay.
So,
hey, I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of it's probably 20% in Harlem, 80% in Canada. So there's a lot of Canadian people who was on set and working with us, et cetera, et cetera. Even when it came down to the clothes, I'm like, people from Harlem wouldn't wear this. Dame, and I'll call Dame, and they're arguing with me because she's like, a Canadian stylist was there, and she's like, oh, this is how it is in the Fed magazine, and I'm like, I'm in Harlem every day, this is not how it is. So I called Dame, and I ain't gonna lie, I probably got about 10 people fired off that set because it wasn't right, you know what I'm saying? So even in the script, I was like, because that's why I used to be on the block every single day. I'm like, this isn't what they would say. So basically, Charles Stone, he's a great director. He did another movie. He did, when I see him do the TLC movie also, and the great job that Shorty, Little Mama played Left Eye.
Right.
The way I could tell he coached her like he coached me, because Charles Stone was really great directing and giving me pointers here and there. But what we would do on set is I would read my lines. We'll do 2 takes of everything. So I read my lines, and then they'll say, Cam, say what you would really say. And probably 90% of what I really said would stay, they pick for the movie.
Right.
Right.
Right, like, you know, looking at that movie, you can act your ass off.
Thank you, man.
Like,
I appreciate
that. You did
that.
a hell of a job. Like,
Thank you.
I was believing that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you so much.
Like, you did a good job. So
I still get called Rico about twice, 3 times.
I was about to say, your nickname should be Rico at this point. But do you? I mean, just looking outside in or whatever. Do you get a lot of calls for acting jobs after that performance? Or
a lot of people call, but what it is that I'm from under the umbrella of Dame Dash, and if we can't do it ourselves, most time we don't do it, because even that movie, he went back and forth a lot with the people, Harvey Weinstein, I believe, who runs Miramax, and when you can't get it your way, you really don't want to do it. I got offered a few parts, but it's all parts that I wasn't comfortable with. Then when I shot the movie Killer Season, even though it went straight to DVD,
right.
I saw, and there's a DVD, I sold about 400,000 copies, and we sold it for $20 a pop. So I'm like, I can make a living doing this. Right. Then I shot the movie Percentage just recently with Queen Latifah and Shakim, the executive producers, and that's on Netflix, and it was a decent check for that, and a decent check for from BET. We know how to get money from movies without having to be in the movie. So being an executive producer of movies and being in them as well is something I'd rather do than just take a part and not be comfortable with the part. Because even like Percentage, I wrote the outline, and Shakim was really impressed with it, and what he did was get another writer to put it in script format. Right.
Do you ever get like roles that you like typecast and you just don't take them, and people expect you to play a certain, this one, put you in a box? Like, is that an issue for you?
Not really. I've been offered a few different roles. Like, they gave me, for instance, years ago, even Friday 2, it was like the part Sticky Fingers played. I was like, I don't want to play that role. No disrespect to Sticky Fingers or whatever, but I'm like, I'm not taking that role. Or certain shit, I watch a lot of shit in Hollywood. And years ago, I even seen Ice-T. This is probably in the late 90s. And first I met Ice-T, this before our album came out. And Too Short came to see him. Too Short was like, you cut your hair? He's like, shit, them niggas gave me $400,000 to cut this shit. And I'm like, that's dope, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not Ice-T I look up to one of my idols. But it's like, I'd rather have more control, because sometimes it be feeling like these niggas just want to see what they can make you do. Like, yo, LL never not wore a hat. How much can we pay him not to wear a hat in a movie? So instead of doing shit like that, because a lot of times these niggas just got hundreds of millions of dollars, or not billions of dollars, to be playing around with niggas. You know what I mean? So I'd rather have my own control. But for my next movie that I want to do, I have a few scripts that we're in play that we're probably going to be filming. I'm definitely going to step out of. It's not going to be no shoot 'em up, bang bang shit. I'm not going to be. What a lot of people say is Cam gets away with playing Cam a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Right.
You know what I mean? So I definitely want to step out that box.
Is there any artist, like the new guys right now, that you feeling? Like, who would you, are you fucking with? You're not fucking with nobody. Who you feeling?
Nah, I mean, you gotta pay attention and listen to music, because I'm really not mad at them, but I was loving Bobby and Rowdy's stuff, loving their stuff, and
3 to 9.
Yeah, definitely, and I even like the new girl, Young Mars out. She's rocking right now. Young and May. As it comes along, I listen to it. Like what Future and Drake is doing. I like what Meek is doing.
Right.
So you listen, because you don't want to be stubborn and be like, I ain't listening to that, because people before that would say that about us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got to stay in the loop if you still want to do music and figure out what's going on.
So the project you got up called, was it Losing Weight 3?
That's the song. The album is entitled Killer Season 2.
Okay, when is that? When is that?
The end of November this year.
November?
Yep.
And who's on that? Obviously you. And who else is on that?
Right now, I don't know, because I have a bunch of different features on it, and the studio's in the crib, so I work to the deadline, and I have 300-400 songs. So with me, I could just sit there, and I have a lot of different features. So I don't want to say who's on and who's not, because the last week, let's say the album comes out in November, I work up until the end of October. So I may do the hottest songs the last week of October. You know what I'm saying? Lead into November, so I don't want to say I'm keeping this record and I'm not keeping that record. I work all the way to the deadline, and then I'll pick the hottest songs from there.
Quit capsaicing, serenading them hoes. There's no Juliet for no Romeo with no dove.